Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes, we are sending it in. Welcome to the Taproom Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Lads, here as always with my guy, Mr. Big Ballin' Ben Larson. What's going on tonight, Benjamin?
Not much, man. Enjoyed a good afternoon of sports after a pretty shitty day, man. Gotta shout out to all those children's families and all that shit that went down in Texas today. It's such a piece of shit move, but day ended well with some good sports. Not how I would have personally liked it to go, but is what it is. They were 2 great games tonight, so
There was a lot of good games.
3 great games today. Yeah,
we had a lot of good games, hockey, basketball, but you're right. Sad day in America, man, when a adult goes into an elementary school and just fires on innocent kids and teachers, and it's I don't want to get political, members, and I don't want to bring the energy down or bring the room down, but it is fucking disgusting, and at some point something has to change, man. And I don't know what the answer is, because if I did, I'd be getting paid the big bucks. But
there we go.
The leaders, the politicians, they got to do something, dude, because I'm not going to, as a parent, I don't want to send my daughter to school having to wear a fucking bulletproof vest. Like, school should be a safe place. School is like kids should be their escape from everything else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's 100%. That should be a safe haven, and it's unfortunate, man. But
we're here to talk about sports.
We're here to talk sports
and drink some beer.
You got a beer
tonight?
I do have a beer. I'm actually finishing up a beer, and then I have my beer for the podcast.
Nice.
I got a little thirsty.
While you're finishing up that beer,
tell us about your beer.
We are being sponsored by theyre tonight. Make sure to go to theyre.com, download the theyre app, use promo code Taproom. Get $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. I got a beer tonight, from one of the places that I do go regularly when I go visit. I got family in Auburn, so whenever I go up there, Knee Deep is definitely a go-to for me. So today I've got Slow Mo. So it's a IPA, 100% Mosaic hops, which is usually you don't get those 100% hop beers. So this is definitely one that I'm looking forward to. 6.5%, so it's not too bad, and it's really cold on a really fucking hot day out here. So, and it's still like 80 degrees in California, and it's almost 10 o'clock. So,
which is not normal if you're not from there.
Not at all. Not at all. So,
Vegas, 80 degrees at night is pretty normal.
Yeah, we were hotter than Vegas today. That makes no sense.
Dude, it's crazy. You got super hot last weekend in Vegas, and then kind of cooled down this week, surprisingly, and then it's probably gonna get into the hundreds, and we probably will have hundreds until Halloween. So not looking forward to that.
I was gonna say September, October. Yeah,
not looking forward to that. Tonight I'm actually drinking a special tap beer from Tenaya. I actually just tapped this today or this week. I haven't seen anyone in there today, and they had it. This is the Sungrita. It's a light beer, 4.8%. So it's a summer beer. It's a lager. Oh man, dude, they don't have it written down, and I read it 5 hours ago, so it's kind of.
I'm guessing it's got salt and lime on it.
Yeah,
salt and lime.
and tangerine. I remember tangerine is in it. So obviously like fruity flavors, and a light beer.
Margarita-esque.
Yeah, and a light beer. So it's got a, it's very easily drinkable. The aroma is nice. You smell like citrus flavors, obviously.
Mm.
And like the taste is really good, dude. Like you said, the taste is kind of like citrusy with like but salty, like savory. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
What was the percentage on it?
4.8, so very light, very easily drinkable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like it's a
Perfect for a
perfect
hot
summer
day.
beer. Yeah, perfect summer beer. As we head towards summer and the kids get out of school, you know, parents may need an extra couple of these. You know,
Damn straight.
pulling their hair out
Damn
and shit.
straight. Especially in Vegas.
Especially in Vegas, especially everywhere, man. Especially when you have a bad betting day, then you gotta drink a fucking few more. But that's here nor there. But let's talk about the games today, man. So before we came on, we actually, we watched a nice NHL game, arguably one of the better series. Actually, I'd probably put that towards New York Rangers and Carolina at this point, but this has been a good series nonetheless. The Battle of Alberta. First two games were super high scoring. The last two, Edmonton dominated game 3, basically dominated most of today, although Calgary had a great second period. And they played well in the third period. They just couldn't get the fucking puck behind the net other than that shorthanded goal.
Way too many penalties in the third.
Way too many. And especially that 4-minute double minor at the end, which basically cost them, like, they had no chance at that point. And, I mean, what's your thoughts on this series? Because you've been kind of down on Edmonton throughout the season. You were pretty much down on them in the last series. Like, what's your thoughts on them at this point, up 3-1 against Calgary?
I mean, the big thing is that they really haven't just showed me anything that they can finish, and they're going to have to finish to, make me a believer of Edmonton and of McDavid in, playoff times, Drysdale in playoff times, Mark Smith in playoff times. It's just, this team is, at least from what I've seen in the past, built for the regular season, and they really need to show that they are, a team that can compete when things get really tough. And this, the kind of road that they've taken so far has not been the most difficult, starting with the Kings and now moving in with, at least with the way that Calgary has been playing. Calgary has definitely been, more of a push for them. But, if they get by Calgary, which I think they will, I think the real challenge is going to be coming in versus the Avalanche, and they're going to have to really body up on the Avalanche to be able to actually, be in that series. So I think that's really the reason I've been kind of questioning the way that the Oilers have kind of pushed through, in previous years and have pushed through this year's playoffs. So, I mean, they're doing it against Calgary. I thought this was going to be a much longer series. I thought this was going to be a, not necessarily a walk in the park for Calgary, but definitely a much more even series than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, from watching the last two games, because, the first game, Calgary goes up 6-1. Edmonton fights back, ties the game. The Flames end up winning 9-6. But at that point, I was like, damn, like, that gives Edmonton a lot of confidence going forward. The fact that you're able to battle back from 6-1. And then game 2, they were down 2-0, battle back, win the game. And then game 3, you saw it, like, they just had all the confidence in the world. Mike Smith looked really good. But the biggest thing I've been noticing about the Oilers in the last two games is that they are blocking a ton of shots.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this with the Lightning too. And the Lightning, they do it really well, is they block a lot of shots, like their forwards, their defensemen. Like, they get down and fucking take pucks in the fucking face, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that is huge, dude, because that shows the determination and the will to want to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like the first period tonight, last game, they dominated all three periods. Tonight, they absolutely dominated the first period, go up 3-0. Second period, the Flames kind of battled back, and the Flames started to gain some confidence. And a big part of that was Markstrom made a couple huge saves, kind of gave them a little bit of momentum. They put 2 goals in the net. And then in the third period, it was kind of 50-50. The Flames get that shorthanded goal. Looks like a whole new ball game, Ben. But then the Oilers just way too much pressure, put it on. McDavid is too fucking good, dog. Like that.
Yeah, he really is.
That dude is like a video game player, bro. Like
he
playing
really
on
is,
fucking
especially because
easy.
nobody will put a body on him.
You can't though. He's so quick, dude. Like they were trying.
Yeah,
It's not like they weren't trying, dude. He's elusive, dude. Like I've never seen anything like that on skates, dude. You know what I mean? Since like Pavel Bure in his prime and Jaromir Jagr.
Oh, that's why they call him McJesus. But you're absolutely right. 23 block shots tonight. I didn't think it was that much, but really, really took it to Calgary. I mean, Calgary only had 11 there.
Yeah, I feel like they just want it more, dude. And even shows on the screen, bro. Like, what's his name? Woodcroft. He got him playing, dog. Like, and I still think like the way they battled back in game 1, I feel like the Flames, like they were like, fuck, dude. Like we had these dudes like murdered 6-1. And dude, scoring 5 goals in a game is tough. They did it in like a period and they came back and tied it. So it's like, I think that's like a momentum breaker. I mean, besides that second period, and I think that's good for the Flames going forward because Markstrom finally like looked like he had some confidence because he looks like he's like, he hasn't been good against the Oilers all year. It's like the one team he's not good against. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, maybe the Flames win.
The Oilers have though, like they're one of the top teams for a reason because they can put the puck in the net. And that's something that, if they don't make it through this year, that's going to be something that they don't have to worry about. They're going to have to worry about shoring up that defense.
But I mean, their defense has been good the last 2 games.
Their defense has been all right. I mean, they're still allowing goals, to get by. They're still allowing a lot of shots. Granted, a lot are blocked, but they're still allowing a lot of shots to happen. So that's something that they're going to need to kind of pick up in this offseason.
But if you look at the shots that Calgary is getting, like all their shots are coming, like they're not good shots. They're just throwing the puck on the net because Edmonton isn't allowing them good opportunities. Like they're literally clogging up the middle. They're not letting anybody get in the slot. You know what I mean? And that's difficult. And I feel like I'm watching the fucking Sharks, dude, in their prime. Like we get in the playoffs and we can't fucking get a fucking puck in the goal, dude. Like we just don't get good opportunities. And I feel like that's what's happening with Calgary here. And I feel like the block shots, they're leading to a lot of 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s on the other side because the puck's bouncing Edmonton's way on that. And you can't. Edmonton's like the one team you don't want to do that to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They are an incredibly fast team.
Yeah. So it's just
on multiple lines.
Because, I mean, Ben, we came into the series and we're like, Calgary has an advantage because they're a better defensive team and they can put the puck in the net. But they don't even look like the better defensive team. And that's an issue, dude. If you're getting outplayed at your strength, that's not good.
Yeah.
Calgary may win game 5, I don't know. But I wouldn't put my money on them. And then if they do win game 5, Edmonton's coming home and winning game 6.
Yeah. I think it'll go 6 games here. I think you'll see Calgary come back, and when your back's against the wall, things always seem to be amped up, and I think
wasn't like that for the Panthers.
Edmonton Panthers had a lot of games, but they're back up against the wall. But I think Calgary is a tougher team than Florida was. And they will be able to kind of push through for one more game. I think you're absolutely right. I think it goes 6. But, I think Edmonton does take this.
Yeah. And that future looks even better, Ben.
They're not getting past Colorado.
I mean, I didn't think they were going to get past Calgary. You know what I mean?
Nobody's getting past Colorado.
Hey, never say never, bro. Binghamton doesn't go out.
I didn't.
Never.
Nobody.
I mean, like, I agree with you. Conventional logic, from watching the playoffs and stuff, like, it would easily tell you, like, Colorado's the best team left in the playoffs, in my opinion. But
Colorado's the best team in the league.
Yeah,
They have been all year.
but I mean, they're definitely the best team left in the playoffs. Like playing right now, the way they're playing and everything, I think they're the best team left in the playoffs. But Edmonton has the best player, and they're playing really well right now. And sometimes momentum can carry you a long way.
I mean, but you can't say that Colorado doesn't have momentum either.
I mean, true, but I mean, they lost that game to St. Louis, and if Binghamton doesn't go down, who knows how that series plays out? Obviously, Colorado's the better
we know
team.
how that series plays out.
Well, I mean, dude,
St. Louis maybe would get one more game.
St. Louis is over there. That's a championship pedigree team, bro. A lot of guys on that team have won a Stanley Cup before, and that's kind of you saw that same kind of inexperience play out with Florida. I mean, Florida was the best team in the league. President's Trophy.
No, they weren't.
President's Trophy.
In a nice division.
Okay, but I mean, we both thought they were getting past the Lightning.
It's true. It's very true.
And Lightning handled business. All right, let's talk about this next series, the Rangers and Hurricanes, Ben. Rangers down 2-0, 0-2, go home, win 2 games. The Hurricanes have yet to win a game on the road in the playoffs. Yep. Still cannot win on the playoffs. I do think that, I mean, the good thing for the Hurricanes is they could, in the Eastern Conference, they could literally lose every road game and they'll still make the Stanley Cup because they have home ice the rest of the way. So they really only have to be good at home.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really bodes well for them confidence-wise because at some point it's like, all right, dude, we got to win on the road at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Rangers are a great defensive team, dude. Great defensive team. But they are so, like, challenged offensively. And the fact that, like, they've won these games and the last 2 and Carolina's only put up a combined 2 points, 2 goals. I mean, how do you think this goes? Do you think Carolina just dominates at home like they've been doing, and either way they win this series, even if it goes 7? Because they are a tough team to beat at home.
They are a very tough team to beat. And yeah, I think today's issue was that they just couldn't get anything in line because they were playing shorthanded so much. 27.
Only 4 power plays.
What's that?
4 power plays.
It was no, they had 27 minutes. I mean, they had 15 minutes of that was misconduct, but they had a power play goal. But you look at the first period, and it's 4 penalties to Carolina. So I'm sorry, 3 penalties. One of them was fighting in a 10-minute misconduct, but 2 penalties to start off the game, and then you've got roughing calls, you've got slashing, you've got like just major issues where, especially at the start of the game, if you get a guy who gets kicked out for the game, you can't get those lines moving. If you start with 2 power plays, to start off, that you can't get those lines together and that movement going. So I think that was the big thing that really kind of pushed them into a slow start in this game and allowed the Rangers to get 2 goals early.
Well, I think the other thing with this series too, Ben, is that Shesterkin is playing very well again.
He's playing very well. And that was something that I didn't necessarily I questioned before,
because last series he wasn't started. Good. You know what I mean? And like he was great in the regular season. He was the best goalie in hockey, but in the first round he wasn't good.
Yeah.
And now he's back to playing how he was during the regular season. Yeah. Even in the games in Carolina, like he wasn't bad. They just couldn't score enough goals, dude. It's not like they gave up a ton of goals. Yeah. Do you think the Rangers can steal one? Because, I mean, for them to win this series, they have to win a game in Carolina. Do you think that they can possibly do that? Like, what would you set the odds at?
I mean,
because tomorrow they are. I'm sorry.
On Thursday.
Thursday right now, Carolina minus 141.
Minus 145.
Minus 145.
Which is not great. It's definitely. I mean, Shesterkin. I think you said it. He can stand on his head and he can take a game, in Carolina. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers won a game in Carolina here.
If they
Also,
win a
wouldn't be
game in
surprised.
Carolina, they probably win the series. What's the series price
I
right
was
now?
just about to say I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina finally won a road game and took one in New York either. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I thought if there was going to be a series, I thought they were going to take one of these two, and they didn't take either one.
Yeah.
Right now, damn, Rangers plus 128 to win the series. Hurricanes minus 148. So even the odds makers aren't super confident in Carolina right now, dude. They're really only banking on that home ice advantage. That's crazy. The Avalanche.
This is one of the hardest kind of series to kind of to look at and to kind of guess what's going to happen within these next couple games. It is so back and forth.
I mean, it's been
These
that
have
way
been
with a
low
lot of these
scoring games
playoffs
too.
Yeah, I mean the unders have been great in that series for sure.
Yep.
That's been the way to go. All right, let's talk about these games tomorrow. So let's start off with the Western Conference semifinal game between the Avalanche and the
They
Blues.
only have one game tomorrow. Yeah.
Is there only one game tomorrow?
Only one. Yep.
Oh yeah, because the fucking Panthers are done.
Tampa Bay
all
or
right, so
golf course prepping for the next series.
well, apparently they were prepping for the their vacation before because they were at the strip club the night before Game 4.
Yep. Yep. Till 3:00 in the morning.
They were ready to go home. They saw the writing on the wall like we all did. All right, so tomorrow we got the Blues plus 206 on the road, money line. Colorado minus 228. Over under 6.5. Colorado on the puck line minus 1.5 at plus 107. St. Louis plus 1.5 at minus 125. Honestly, I think that's undervaluing Colorado because I feel like in these playoffs too, like the winning team always wins by 2 or more because they pull the goalie and they pull a goalie for like 4 times, even when they're down 4 goals, dude. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everyone's been doing,
especially with St. Louis's back against the wall in in an elimination game. Like they're gonna have to, if they're down by 2 goals, they're gonna have to pull their goalie at like 3 to 4 minutes. And if they're down by 3 goals after that, they'll still probably pull their goalie. So, I definitely take the puck line here at minus 1.5. I think it's good value, just because of that notion of the empty net goal. And I think that's what a lot of bettors forget about when they think about what's going to be happening. I think you should get not as good odds there. And nothing shows me that St. Louis can win without Binnington in net. They got, I mean, I guess it was a little closer,
and they're on the road
last game. In Colorado is going to be difficult. But down 3 goals, in game 3, 2 goals in another 3 goals in game 2. I just don't see them without a major backstop. And Husso he's no slouch. He had 25 wins on the season, only 7 losses. Well, I guess 13 losses with overtime and regulation losses, but
he's no Binnington though.
He's no Binnington. Yeah. He's actually got better numbers, but Binnington for some reason comes out.
He's won a cup, dude.
And he's a playoff goaltender. So, there's nothing that I've seen that can, really stop Colorado tomorrow.
I like Colorado.
You've got Nazem Kadri.
Kadri's playing well, dude.
Kadri's playing great. You've got Rantanen playing great. You've got Makar playing great. He did have he definitely had a fuck up the other night, but when your team's averaging 4.5 goals a game, it's just you can't stop that.
They're the best team, dude. You know what I mean? Like they're the best team, and then St. Louis loses Binnington, it kind of like changes the entire outcome of the series. I think it would be a miracle if St. Louis won tomorrow. Obviously, not a ton of value on the money line, but I think that puck line has a lot of good value. And I would also take the over 6.5. You know, I think that's a pretty safe bet too because Biddington isn't in there.
The only way I can see St. Louis winning is if Colorado takes dumb penalties and gets into penalty trouble. That's the only way that I could see St. Louis pulling this win out. They've got a great power play, 35% in the playoffs, and again, that's the only thing that I could see happening. But that
and
also
for some
means
reason
they have to
O'Reilly's
stay out of
really,
the box.
And for some reason O'Reilly's really good against the Avalanche on St. Louis. He has like a goal every game in his last like 8 games against Colorado, dude. It's pretty fucking crazy. Which if you're playing the prop market, he's a guy you might want to look at over a half a point. That's another good play there. But yeah, man, I like Colorado here, and I like the over.
I'd put Makar at over half a point as well. He actually
holy shit, man, 11-11 Mets and Giants right now.
Oh Jesus, we were up 8-2, right?
It was 8-2. Crazy stat. I don't mean to get off track here, but I saw this stat. Well, I didn't see it. I did see it, but it's because I was looking for it this morning. Giants 24th in reliever ERA this year, Ben. 24th in the major leagues. And last year, that was like a strength of their team. Oh, the Giants actually just tied it 11-11. They were down 11-8. They just tied it 11-11.
Jesus.
What a game, dude.
What inning are we in?
Bottom of the 8th.
Wow. That's a long one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a long one. Yep.
Well, the Mets.
Yeah, so
the Mets are a very interesting team this year. Sorry, I don't mean to get off track again, but I think baseball is a important sport right now too. But the Mets, then batting average on balls in play, they're hitting like over 300. So like the analytics tell you that they're a quote unquote lucky team, but for some reason it keeps happening. Like last night, Brandon Nimmo had like 2 infield singles, dude. It's just crazy. Like they would just hustle. You know what I mean? Like that team just hustles hard. So it's interesting thing going forward for the Mets, and they have a ton of injuries, but for some reason they're playing well. But at some point, those Scherzer and DeGrom injuries are going to catch up to them, dude.
Yep, absolutely.
Losing that is tough. All right, should we hop into basketball? Talk about your Warriors?
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
I think so.
All right, let's talk about the Warriors, man. So the Warriors, this series has been crazy because last series, the Dallas Mavericks shoot 51% on what is considered open three-pointers. So a defender less than 4 feet away from them. This series coming in tonight, they're shooting under 30% on those shots. Yep. I mean, just complete Jekyll and Hyde. Andrew Wiggins has been playing
tonight.
Tonight they did start hitting them, dude. And at some point, they have to hit them because they've been hitting them all playoffs. Like it's got to happen at some point. Yeah. But they really cooled off in the fourth quarter, which allowed the Warriors to climb back into it, which really got interesting at the end, and it probably shouldn't have. But, this is 2 series in a row where the Warriors have a chance to close it out on the road, and they kind of sleepwalk. But, this is a team that's won it.
Come on. You expect them to win 4 straight in the Western Conference Finals?
Well, I mean, dude, they dominated them.
They have a chance to. I mean, you can't expect any team to go into a conference finals and sweep. Let's be real about that. I mean, we talked about that a little bit on Sunday's show, where you were very adamant that they were going to that Dallas was done and that it was going to be a 4-game sweep. And I knew that Dallas was going to come back strong in this game, and you gotta know that they're at least gonna get one. So I wouldn't. The way that they were hitting shots tonight, especially from the 3-point line, I mean, any team's gonna win, especially with the way that the Warriors were shooting from the 3-point line. So I wouldn't necessarily put the major onus on the Warriors not being able to close it out on the road.
Well, I
They
mean,
just
this
took
is
one of two in a conference final.
this is two
That's
series
good.
in a row where they had a chance to close out on the road and didn't do it. So I'm not saying that it's. I'm just saying like it's two series in a row where they had the opportunity and they came out very flat in both of those games. And like at some point were the Mavs going to hit some shots? Absolutely. Like it was bound to happen. But the Warriors couldn't really get anything going offensively on their own. And like I've been saying all playoffs, my concern about the Warriors is that Curry has been very up and down. But in this series, the first 3 games, he was great. And then tonight, he wasn't good. Jordan Poole, same thing. He's been very up and down. Tonight, he was really trash outside of the fourth quarter. He stepped it up a little bit in the fourth quarter, but he also kind of cost him in the fourth quarter because he had a possession where they could have made it a 2-possession game, and he dribbled around for fucking 24 seconds and took a bad shot, and they kind of sealed the game. Like they had no chance of coming back after that point. But the Warriors have been so much better in this series, dude. And they were so much better in the first 3 games of this series. And Dallas, like last game, Maxi Kleba comes out 0 for 5 on his first 5 3-point attempts. And then he was afraid to take a shot. And he like had 2 unforced turnovers. The guy just looked scared. Reggie Bullock looked absolutely like trash. He was 0 for 10 last game. He looked completely fucking lost. Like someone took his fucking candy from his pocket. Today, he goes 6 for 10 from 3-point land. You know what I mean? Dorian Finney-Smith, same thing. He was very bad last game. Goes 4 for 7. If Dallas shoots like that, like they did against Phoenix, they could beat anybody, right?
No,
But
absolutely.
they haven't been able to do that all series. Tonight, they were able to do that, and they still almost
And they
gave the
won the
game
game.
away in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But they were able to do that, and they won the game. I mean, I think I think you need to give Dallas a little bit more credit here.
I'm giving them credit. Like
take away a little bit of the onus and the hate against the Warriors because
it's no onus and hate against the Warriors. I'm just saying, like, the Warriors have played great in the first 3 games.
I've been friends
tonight,
with you for how long, Jordan?
all I'm saying is the Warriors played great the first 3 games. Like they look like a world's better team than the Mavericks have, right? And then tonight they kind of regressed back into that like peaks and valleys, like they've been playing all playoffs. But for 3 straight games, Curry looked like the Curry of old. You know what I mean? Like he looked great in the last 3 games. Tonight, regressed back to what we've seen the rest of the playoffs. Like he had some duds. Klay Thompson, same thing. Like he wasn't great. So
yeah,
I was putting more on
a little bit more of the.
But I'm putting more on the Warriors, saying like I thought the Warriors were back. Like I thought we were getting the consistent Curry again. They looked like that for the first 3 games of this series.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the defensive levels that Dallas played tonight. It was just light years better than the first 3 games that they went out there. They were on the ball. They were pushing, pushing that distance from where they were, 4 feet back on the Warriors. Last game they were 2 feet, in their face tonight. Like it was a much better showing from Dallas than
it was way better.
In the first 3 games. So they're going to take a game. They're going to push this to 5 games. I don't think it's going to go any further than that.
This is over on Thursday.
Yeah,
the series is over.
I mean, going into San Francisco is going to be so much harder to win a game than with your backs against the wall in Dallas.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what I'm saying is like a lot of teams, you're up 3-1, 3-0. You give up a game, you let a team kind of climb back in it, and you give them confidence. The Warriors are a little bit different because they've been here, they've done that, they've won a title. Like they have a lot of experience on that team where they can have a bad game like tonight and can go back home and say, all right, we're gonna take care of business tonight.
Yes.
And I absolutely think this series is over with on Thursday. I don't think Dallas stands a fucking chance because like they're just so Jekyll and Hyde with the 3-point shooting. And Chase Center's a tough place to play because if Curry hits 3 threes in a row, it's over because that building just fucking explodes, dude.
Yeah. And this was an embarrassment to the starting rotation for the Warriors tonight. If it wasn't for, they were down 29, and if it wasn't for the bench, then it wouldn't have been a close game. So I fully expect that starting rotation to come out much stronger and really have this as kind of a wake-up call for game 5 here.
Yeah.
Before we move on to tomorrow's game, I do got to say, I would have so much more respect for Luka if he didn't flop around and if he didn't complain about every single call or non-call. Like, even when he's getting the fouls, he's crying about it. Like, it's just, he is such a damn good player that I lose a lot of that respect for him because of the way that he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that about basically every player nowadays. I feel like every player complains way too much, and Draymond's like that. Draymond bitches about every fucking thing. If you ask Draymond, he's never fouled a player in his life, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes for every player, dude. Like, half of the Celtics are fucking floppers, dude. They flop all the fucking time. Same with the Heat, but man, it's just so annoying. And I agree with you, dude. Luka does the same fucking thing. LeBron does it. Like, they all do it. Like, get back on defense. Fuck, stop bitching, dude. Like, god damn, bro. Like, I agree, man. It's fucking annoying,
every
dude.
Single little play. Yeah.
But they all do it. It's not just Luka. It's everybody,
I know.
bro. And it's a problem. It's honestly a problem in the NBA.
Yep.
I fucking hate it, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
So that brings us to tomorrow's game. Like I said, two teams that fucking flop and complain about everything too. The Celtics versus the Heat. This series has been straight fucking comedy, dude. Every other game, the team blows out the other team. It's like none of these games have been close. It's incredible how comedic this series is. I still stand by that Boston is the better team because Miami's 2 wins, dude. Honestly, in both those wins, they only won one quarter in each of those games, and they happened to like blow them out by so much in that one quarter that it was different. And like both of Miami's wins, they've had complete anomalies happen. In game 1, Jimmy Butler shoots 18 free throws. In game 3, Bam Adebayo scores 31 points, and the Celtics turn it over 24 times, which is like a rare occurrence. The thing about Bam Adebayo is in 4 games in the series, he scored 10 points or less 3 times. The one game he doesn't, 31 points in game 3. Like, that's not who he is. So, a total anomaly. But, like, what am I going to get from the Celtics? Because these motherfuckers keep biting themselves in the foot. Like, 24 turnovers in game 3, like, that's just mental mistakes.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And I think my question is more of what Tatum are we going to see?
Tatum's really only had one bad game.
Yeah, but what was it? Game 3 wasn't, he was nothing awful, special.
But they were all bad. That's what I'm saying. They kind of bit themselves in the foot. Right now, Boston -1.5 favorite on the road, over under 204.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go with the Boston, -1.5 here. Like you said, they're the better team. They're the bigger team. They are dealing with injuries, but
so is Miami.
It's more of, so is Miami, and they're defensive injuries, not necessarily offensive here. So, I think they'll still be able to put up the numbers that, we saw last game. We saw, in game 2, and, be able to push this. Miami, in my eyes, is just way lacking depth right now. And if you're not going to get
dude, that's their biggest issue. Is like they struggle to score. Like if Jimmy Butler's your best scorer, you have issues. Yeah. And the problem with playing Tyler Hero is that Boston just picks on him on defense. So like they had to take him off the floor in game 3 when Boston started making it a game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's 50% right now with the hamstring injury.
Well, I don't know if that's like a phantom injury because honestly, like him not playing might benefit the Heat a little bit. I know he's a good scorer, but like, dude, Boston was like picking on him when he was on the floor. Like they were just hunting him every possession. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart even attacking him. Like, dude, they were just picking on him. So he almost becomes unplayable. And then for the Heat, you're relying on guys like Maxey Strus and Gabe Vincent and PJ Tucker, who's not a scorer, and Bam Adebayo, like you said, not a scorer. Oladipo was great last game. He was probably the only player that fucking played well. But these guys, like, they're not go-to scorers, dude. Like, this is a great defensive team, but they're not a good offensive team. And Boston is a great defensive team and a great offensive team that sometimes likes to play one-on-one and they get into some lulls offensively that lead them to trouble, which, we talked about during the Bucks series before it started. I said the one thing I think is beneficial to the Bucks is that Boston gets in their own way sometimes offensively, because sometimes they just go Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown one-on-one instead of moving the ball. When they move the ball, they're almost unstoppable. We've seen it all playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, they're a great offensive team.
What Horford did the other night. Yeah.
Great offensive team, but sometimes they just get in their own way and try to do too much, Tatum and Brown. And it kind of, and then everybody else kind of feels out of it, and it kind of throws off their whole feng shui. They're an interesting team like that. They're probably the best team left in the playoffs, roster standpoint, top to bottom, when they play the way they can play. But you never know, dude. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't shown that they can string together a ton of games. Chris Middleton plays the Bucks series, they probably lose that series. I'm not saying that as a Bucks fan. I'm saying that because Giannis literally fucking dragged the Bucks to 3 wins, dude. You know what I mean? If he had even a slight remote help, dude, they would win that series. So, like, I love Boston tomorrow. I love a -1.5. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins that game on some crazy shit, dude, because Boston can't get out of their own way sometimes.
Yeah. Do we, most of these games have been going under. Do we stick with the under here?
Yeah. Like I said on Sunday, like, I like the unders in these games because Miami coming into the series only averaged 98.5 points a game. And then Boston only averaging 101. And Boston's, like I said, they're the best defensive team left in the playoffs. They're a better defensive team than the Heat. So I love the unders. But this series has just been so fucking weird, man. Like, you can't explain what has been happening in this series. That's how crazy it's been.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love the under, but who the fuck knows what's going to happen. This shit could go 220, 225 tomorrow.
Yep. But it's gone 225, 229. Then it's gone 212 and
204.
184.
184, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and the books haven't adjusted. Like, those first 2 games went hella high and the books didn't adjust. They stayed at like 208, 207. And here we see it again, the same number. Because
I think it started at 214.
I was like 212, 210.
Hold on. I have it here. Initial. Oh, you're right. 203 for game 1.
Yeah, because that's right.
6.
Miami averaged 98.5. Boston averaged 101. These are 2 best defensive teams left in the playoffs. So it's like those games should be low scoring. So I would take the under, and if I lose the under, it's like, oh well, like I made the right play. But sometimes shit doesn't work out your way. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it rolls. Yeah, unfortunately, that's betting. Yeah, like the guy that bet $500 on Mito to win the PGA Championship and ended up losing because he fucking fumbled the last 2 strokes. Yeah, would have won 150,000. Wow, crazy. Ouch. Yep. All right, Ben, we got any best? Oh, hold on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got any best bets for tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. What's your best bet?
The music go. There we go.
My bad.
So we're gonna go. We got 2 best bets. We're gonna go first. We're gonna start with the Dodgers tomorrow night. And we're gonna go Dodgers -1.5 over the Nationals. You've got Urias on the mound, who has been, pitching really well. His record doesn't necessarily show that 3-3 this year, but his ERA does at 2.63. He'll be going up against Fedde, who has not been playing well, 4.08, and he's been playing against a lot easier teams. The Phillies, shit, I just lost that. I was on Urias there. Colorado, Houston at the beginning of the year. Miami, Arizona, not that great of teams here. So I think going up against one of the best offenses in baseball right now, especially with them hitting the long ball like they are, we're going to see a big Dodgers win, just like the first 2 games of this series. And then we are also going to go Colorado -1.5 on the puck line here. And I think with Binnington out, with the back against the wall for St. Louis. I think that's just going to be too much for that offensively firepowered Avalanche team. We talked about it a little earlier, but Colorado is scoring 4.5 goals per game, and this team just does not stop. So we're going to go Colorado -1.5.
Bro, this Giants Mets game is crazy right now.
What are we at?
We are at it's 11-11. The Mets just hit a ball in the triples alley. Dominic Smith is on third with no outs in the top of the ninth. Incredible stuff. I got two best bets for tomorrow. I too like Colorado -1.5 on the puck line against the Blues. I just think they're so much of a better team. No Biddington, and I think they smell blood in the water. I think they're going to close it out, rest up, wait for the Flames to die out, which I think could possibly happen in Game 5. So we could see the Western Conference Finals sooner rather than later. Give me Colorado -1.5 on the puck line, and then I have a second best bet. I'm going San Diego Padres money line -125. San Diego is good against left-handed pitching, 7th in WRC plus, and they're a good team at hitting sliders, and Ashby throws sliders 33% of the time. Plus, Ashby is averaging over 5 walks per 9 innings, and the Padres lead the major leagues in walks. Milwaukee hits right-handed pitching well, but Yu Darvish has a career 2 ERA against Milwaukee, and in 19.2 innings at home this year, he's only given up 3 runs, and that's in starts against the Braves, Marlins, and Dodgers, all great offensive teams. Padres are also 11-8 at home and 7-3 in their last 10. Give me the Padres money line -125 here. Let's cash these tickets and head to the window tomorrow night, baby.
Yeah, let's go 3-0 there.
Yes. Thank y'all for joining us. Make sure to go to theyre.com or download the Devour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code Taproom for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. That's craft beer delivered straight to your front door. You ain't even got to leave your house. Bless you, Ben.
Thank you. Try to get the mic down.
So go to theyre.com, download the Devour app, promo code Taproom. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with Eddie and Irvin. We'll be breaking down the Eastern Conference Finals game, talking about more NHL playoffs, and then looking ahead to Thursday's games and Thursday's action. Last Wednesday, Eddie and I also talked about the PGA Championship, which neither of us fucking came close to, but that's all right. It's okay. That's how it goes. We got some boxing matches this weekend coming up. A lot of great action, so make sure to tap into us tomorrow night, and then Ben and I will be back Sunday night for the extravaganza show for the week. We'll be talking about probably looking forward to the NBA Finals, honestly, and
at that point,
NHL Conference Finals. So make sure to tap into that. Follow me on Twitter at JordanRulesTSP. Follow us on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast, taproomsportspodcast.com. We'll see y'all later. Have a great fucking Wednesday. Peace.
Oh, yeah.